The Lost Thing, it started out as a picture book. I wrote it on my kitchen table in between other jobs as a freelance illustrator, trying to keep myself occupied. And at the time of the first draft, as with most stories, including good ones, I didn't think much of it. I just thought, this is a fairly silly story about a boy who finds a creature on a beach that's big and it's got tentacles or something like that, and he takes it to a government department, and it all becomes a little bit sinister. So that was sort of like my basic idea, and I developed it over the course of a year. To be honest, I didn't have much else to do at that time, and I really got into it. I really became absorbed by this universe. It was originally almost like a semi-autobiographical story about my experiences living on the coast in Western Australia and going beachcombing and things like that. But over time it evolved into this more universal story about something to do with belonging, the idea of belonging. And that's actually a theme that I've noticed in retrospect flows through all of my work. You can see it in this illustration, the idea of what does it mean for a person to belong to a place. What is an individual? What is a place? And is belonging a good thing, or can it actually be a negative thing sometimes? In the case of The Lost Thing, it's full of these questions. So it's a book hopefully people read. It's very entertaining and funny, but at the end of it, I hope that people are left with all sorts of questions, because it's not entirely resolved. I'm not even sure if it's a happy or sad story myself. So the book was, had a sort of like a cult following here in Australia, but was largely unknown overseas. But then it received an honourable mention at the Bologna International Children's Book Fair, which is a really big thing in the world of children's literature. And the wonderful outcome of that was it came to the attention of a film director in the UK who later approached me via a producer based in Melbourne, asked me if I wanted to co-direct a short animated adaptation. This was in 2001. So we discussed that. I actually started working closely with Sophie, my producer, and Andrew, the co-director, here in Melbourne in 2002, early 2002. And the film was finished in April 2010, so gives you an idea of the how long these projects can go for. So the final film, it was a very kind of small production. The core visual team was really 4 people doing the creative work, and it's since, I was quite happy with it. I tried to keep it very true to the book. And it was great to actually have the illustrated book, because that guided us through the whole process. It's very difficult to sustain your grasp of a film over such a long period. But we'd always go back to the book and what was I thinking back in 2000? Why did I write this book in the first place? And it's been very successful since. It's been in many international film festivals, and now amazingly nominated for an Oscar. So hopefully it means more people will see the story and be left asking their own questions about what it really means.